Pastor Mark Biltz here from Shaddai Ministries. Thank you again so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe and share. Also, please like this video, and we would love to hear your comments. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye. Numbers 20, 6-10. So what happens? Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. They fall on their face. And the glory of the Lord appeared to them, and the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, get the rod. What rod is he talking about? Do you remember the rod? Aaron's rod that budded, right? And God told him to put it by the ark for a sign to the rebels. And now Moses sees there's a bunch of rebels, and he said, I'll go get the rod, and I'm going to bang them over the head with it. But look what God says. He says, I want you to speak to the rock, and it'll bring forth his water. Not its water, his water. And you shall bring forth them water out of the rock, so you will give the congregation and their animals drink. So Moses took the rod from before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said to them, hear now who? This is for you rebels. I'm not standing in for you anymore. And he says, shall we fetch you water out of this rock? Okay, who is he speaking to? He was speaking to the rebels. Shall we fetch you water out of this rock? But who did God tell him to speak to? The rock. He's not speaking to the rock. He's speaking to the rebels. How often do we get our eyes on the wrong thing, think we're doing God's will? God said to grab the rod as a token against the rebels, and I know all of this, but God is testing. He's always testing. And we have to catch the details of what he says. How many of you know sometimes we want to hit people over the head? I'll be honest. Okay, but who do we need to speak to? We need to speak to God about the situation. How many of you know there are lots of rocks in Israel? If you've been to Israel and you're looking for trees, you're not going to find hardly any, but you will find a lot of rocks. So he didn't say go speak to a rock. He said speak to, there was a specific rock he had to talk to, and it was the rock that would produce the living water that literally followed them. Look at this. They felt like the water was going to come from their strength and power. Shall we fetch you water? So often we end up thinking that we become the source rather than the vessel. When the priest bless people, it's not, may I bless you. No, it's the Lord bless you. We're just like the garden hose. That's all we are. That we're supposed to allow and not get clogged up with dirt or get a twist in it so the water can't flow through. But look at 1 Corinthians 10:4. They all drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Messiah. And why was God upset that he struck the rock? Messiah was only supposed to die once. He struck him the first time because Messiah was to die once, but the second time he struck him again when God said to speak, because Messiah wasn't to die twice.